Huh?
Supposed to get a hotel
We'll be able to
project
see
there.
the,
That
Not
never
gonna
happened,
turn
so
them
I
on.
let it
Okay.
slide.
Oh, you didn't
I
see
got
the
Illinois,
sheet.
Missouri, and
Oh, so yeah.
oh,
I got too much to
Yeah.
do anyway, so.
All right, let's start our work session. We have 3 public hearing. Number 50 Gray, are there any comments from board members?
I just, one of the elevation, I want to clarify, what is the fenestration on the window at the attic level? Is it a one big piece of glass or what is it?
Mhm.
Other than that, everything else is fine.
Okay. Anybody else?
I had a question and then also a comment. There's 3 Prairie style windows that are above the front door that from the street, it looks like they might be original, but it's hard to tell from a distance.
Mhm.
And if they are, I was wondering if Prairie style windows were considered to replace all of the windows. And then also because that those attic windows are so large and this house is right on the corner. I mean, you can clearly see the side from East Cedar. I thought it would look more consistent to add grills to those large attic windows. That would be, something that would complement the rest of the windows.
That was my comment as well, that the grills on the large single light windows make it more consistent with the rest of the house. Oh,
Okay.
and
All right.
We got to talk about that.
Yep. Next one on public hearing is 48 Mason, install solar panels. I didn't have any comments.
I was approved as submitted.
Yeah.
Me too.
okay, me
no
too.
comments?
No comment.
That one's good to go.
Then we also had 353 South Gore, which is a front porch, rear addition and interior work.
I have some questions and comments on this one. Most of the existing windows in the photos are 4/1s and 5/1s. And they look like they're original. And I was wondering if it was considered to replace those in the same style. The preservation guidelines state that this is preferable. And then there's some existing triangular gable louvers on the north and south elevation that aren't shown on the drawings. And I was wondering if those are being retained or if they're proposed to be removed. Next item, it's great to open up the front porch again. I think that's wonderful. However, I think the stucco columns and guardrail should be retained. This is also noted in the Central Webster Guidelines for Preservation that posts or columns should be preserved or replaced with posts or columns of the same size and design. And railings or other ornamentation should be preserved. And then I was wondering if what would be the original front door to the house, which would be the door between the sunroom and the living room now, if that's in place and what style it is.
So I had basically the same comments with the addition of the style of the front door and the side lights that they show is not really consistent with the style of the house. So it is in the historic district, so that's what the guidelines call for.
I had a comment on the rear columns. They look like they're square in plan, but look rectangular in the elevations. It looks like there's a lot of mass to them in the elevation. And then it also looks like there are columns towards that new open patio, but they're not shown in the rendering. So it's more towards the rear of the house I had questions on.
All right, any other comments? All right, since those are our public hearing ones, so we do have quite a few submittals that were pre-approved. Well, we'll discuss the ones that were not. First one that was not pre-approved would be 323 Revis, which is a front porch.
For this one, I just felt like there wasn't enough information on the drawings to even provide comment.
I also asked for some more specific information. It appears that the intent is to remove the stone that's below the front porch. And I just wanted to verify if that is indeed the case, because there's stone beneath the existing front porch. And if the stone is being removed, will that space will need to be closed off with something because it is on the front of the house. And also just questions about, is that the existing porch roof that's going to remain? What will the columns be finished like? Will they have any finished material, trim, et cetera? Just basically, we need a lot more information to review the project.
Yeah, I agree with those comments. Same thing. I wasn't exactly sure what they're doing from the drawings. Is it the existing roof and so forth, the columns and what's going on? So same thing.
Yeah, I think I also saw that there's 3 posts shown on the plan, maybe 2 on the elevation or vice versa.
Yeah, but the plan definitely looks like there's posts and the pictures don't. That's not what it looks like. It's there. So
Right. No, that's right.
something's different. Well, maybe.
Right. No, I had the same kind of questions, just some clarifications. Looked, okay, so I think, Ken, did you have anything to add?
No, it's a little confusing. I just made
Yeah.
a comment if they're getting rid of the stone and doing a deck, they might want to do some lattice underneath it. That's all.
Yeah, okay. All right, so that's that one. Next one we have is 524 Oak, which is a rear covered deck.
Which one are we on now?
542.
Oh, you're,
Yeah,
okay, you're
542.
skipping. I didn't know, you're
542.
skipping all the pre-approved.
Yes, yes, sir. Correct.
I noticed that we have some additional photographs of the project that were here at
Oh,
our stations when we arrived. And as I understand it, the intent was to keep that sort of diamond-shaped window or louver, whatever it is there, but then also to retain the beam that's extended. And it just doesn't look like there's room to fit the new roof in between those two. So I would like to explore a little more how that's going to work.
I had a comment on the railing. There's some of the railing goes to the center of the column and then some railing is shown out to the edge of the deck. So there's different conditions. I feel like it should match throughout.
Photographs with that one there. I'm trying to find my photograph.
yeah,
Oh, we got this in this
Oh.
new stuff
Okay.
just today.
Oh, I thought that was the. Oh, okay. I know this one. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think that first sheet doesn't go with it.
I
There you
think I
go.
met with this owner years ago.
That's all together, yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, I think I was, just did ask for existing photos and that's helpful. Looks like they're gonna slide that roof under the existing roof.
Okay, now I get it.
So that was a question I
It's a
had.
little
Yeah, me
confusing
too.
Without the photos.
And it does look like there's not very much room, but that might just be the shadow. I don't know.
Mhm. Okay. All right, there's no more comments on 524 Oak. The next one is 726 at Atlanta.
My main concern on this is the bearing height. If we look at the photos that are here, you can see at the top of the columns, those columns were made taller. And then also too, that really affects the appearance of those boxed out bay areas in toward the rear, the ones with the gables on them. And I know the second floor of this is going to be removed, but I wanted to verify if the new floor is going to be at the original bearing level, which is what is shown on the drawings, or if it's going to be at the bearing level that is currently constructed, because it really does make a big difference in the exterior appearance of the house. And then also too, there's some trim that's pretty predominant on the front of the house and on the sides that's not shown on the drawings. And I was wondering if that's planned to remain. Let's see. And then also on the side elevations, just in order to get some consistency into some of that fenestration, I think it would look a lot better if grills were added to all of those windows. Because on the one side elevation, we have 4 windows that are 4 different sizes, different styles, some with grills, some with no grills. It doesn't appear to be very organized, and I think at least adding grills would give it more consistency. And then also to that blank bay is too much siding, especially if it's going to be a very tall bay, as is seen in these photographs. So there would need to be some windows added back into the kitchen.
I know in the comments that were circulated, there were a couple comments about the windows in the kitchen, and I'm looking at the plan, and I went out to look at the house, and I don't want to ruin their interior of their kitchen, because I just don't think the presence or absence of those windows is going to have any impact on the overall harmony of the neighborhood.
I think that the way the siding comes over on the side, the way it comes into the stucco at the front porch is awkward. That it comes up and over the top, how it was shown. Where is? On the previous drawings is seems like with this, because the stucco will be at the top. I mean, I don't know how this is. It does that thing. So it looks as though the stucco on the front of the building is an afterthought or something when it's the original building.
Mm.
And I definitely agree. I'd like to see the consistency in the window style. It's and So, and we are supposed to look at this, like, what is shown here on the drawing? They are going to change the house to that. That's right?
That's what was expected was
Yeah.
that
That's what's, I mean,
what
that's
we
what,
saw, what you guys see in the picture should be represented in the drawings.
Yeah, that's
Right.
what I was asking about the trim, because there's quite prominent trim on the house that's really bold, and it's not represented at all on the drawings. And that's why I was asking, are we really keeping that, and shouldn't it be on the drawings? Because it does have a big impact on the appearance of the project. Big impact, especially that front box bay that's got some very prominent kind of non-traditional placement of trim, and that's not shown on the drawings. So, it's very difficult to judge how this is really going to look without accurate and complete details, and especially the bearing height issue. We need to be able to see what is actually proposed in order to review it.
yeah, it's a little bit confusing.
Right, because we have pictures that are going to be altered.
Exactly. Or supposed, right, that,
Right. Okay. There's nothing else on Atlanta. We have a preliminary one, which,
So Mara suggested just waiting to discuss this
Oh,
in the course
we
of
won't talk about
the
yours while
the-
you're here.
actual meeting.
Yeah, okay.
and we just wait.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine.
You're okay,
Fine.
unless you want to leave.
Oh, no,
Okay, all right.
Either way.
Okay.
We're going to go over this one, or?
We're gonna wait.
Okay,
Since it's
that's fine.
prelim-
Mhm.
I think we're close enough to time. Let's go ahead and start.
Okay. All right, well, welcome everyone in attendance and those on Zoom. We just finished our work session, so the official Architectural Review Board meeting is now underway. Tonight with us, we have Kelly Campbell and Andrew Klosterman with the city. Carol Dunkey, Tracy Collins, Ken Burns, Angela Thompson, and myself, Bob Buckman, were all volunteer architects that sit on the board. First item of business is review of the March 3rd meeting minutes, which were sent out previously. And with that, ask if there's no corrections, can I have a motion, please?
I make a motion to approve the meeting notes from March 3, 2022 as submitted.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye, opposed? All right, the March 3rd meeting minutes are approved. Next, we have several pre-approvals, which are from projects that were reviewed by the board. Comments were sent in, and that was done between between Mara and the city and the applicants. So with those, we'll start. I ask for a motion and ask the board members to refer to the sheet that Mara circulated. First one is 809 at Atlanta. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve 809 at Atlanta with the clarification that the underside of the overhang is a vented aluminum soffit and the soffit follows the line of the roof.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? 809 Atalanta is approved. Next, we have 1440 Ronald. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve 1440 Ronald with the clarification that the windows on the north elevation are casements with no grills.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? 1440 Ronald is approved. Next, we have 675 West Lockwood. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve 675 West Lockwood with the understanding that the design of all the dormers will be as shown on the front elevations of the garage.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? 675 West Lockwood is approved. Next, we have 620 Florence. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve 620 Florence as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? 620 Florence is approved. Next, we have 135 West Lockwood. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve 135 West Lockwood as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? 135 West Lockwood is approved. And 13 East Allison. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
to approve 13 East Allison as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? 13 East Allison is approved. All right. Next, we have 3 projects which are in historic districts, so they're all public hearings. We'll do those next, and then the remainder of them will come after. The first one is, and we do have people online. Okay, so at this point, if I read your project, if you're online, you can raise your Zoom hand, and if you're in person, you can just please come up and join us at the microphone and introduce yourself. And we'll discuss the project and then move on from there. First one is 50 Gray. Is there anyone here or online for 50 Gray? Please raise your hand.
Got Jenny Gasso?
I'm here.
Welcome, Jenny.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. And Jenny Bristow, the homeowner, is here as well.
Okay, great. Welcome. We had some comments. I think Carol can start.
Yeah, I just had a question for y'all. The 3 Prairie style windows that are right above the front door, from the street, those look like they might be original, but it's hard to tell from the street. Are those original to the house?
Yeah, those are original. They're kind of unusual for the house. They're the only ones in that style. Most of the other ones are either 6/1 or 9/1 originally.
Okay, yeah, when I drove by there, it looked like most of the windows had already been replaced once. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's, like I said, it's a little bit hard to tell from the street sometimes and you don't want to go, traipsing up to someone's house. Yeah, I was just wondering if Prairie style windows were considered for the rest of the house or that just wasn't considered. I mean, it's just a question, not really a big issue.
I think the 2 windows that are on the first floor that are in the main spaces, which are the dining room and the front living room, have 9/1. And so that's kind of the more the style of the house that they're going for is the smaller divided as opposed to Prairie style.
Okay. So, as in reading the standards, there is some, leeway allowable there as far as window style, especially if they've already been replaced. At least that's my understanding. As far as those large attic windows that are on the north and south gable ends, they are very prominent to view, and I do believe those need to have some grills to make it more consistent with the rest of the windows, and also to make it more in the historic style.
Jenny, I think Jenny and I discussed it, and I'll let her speak to that design decision.
Sure. So we did decide to have it be one large window instead of two separate windows like it is right now, to be able to have it let more light in and not have the divider. However, I do actually believe it's supposed to have grids on it to match the windows on the other floors. Jenny, does it not have that? I thought it did for both
It
sides.
doesn't have it in the spec from Webster Window. So I'm following the spec, but I'm sure we could certainly add them.
Yeah, it should have that because I wanted it to match the grids and have grids across the entire window instead of being one large open window. I completely agree with you. That definitely matches the look of the house more.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I had trouble understanding that they're going to put grids on. Is that what you're saying?
Yes,
Okay.
that was the intent, but it
Supposed to.
apparently didn't get
Okay.
reflected in the window order or on the drawings, but that is the intent, to
Okay.
put grills on there.
Right.
Okay.
That was the only comment I had, was to clarify what's going on with the windows and the eaves of the attic. So I'm good to go.
Okay. No other comments from board members, with the understanding that grids are going to be added to the large window. Public hearing, is there anyone else physically present or on Zoom that wants to talk or speak on behalf of 50 Gray? Please raise your hand. Okay, seeing none. I'll ask for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve 50 Gray with the understanding that grills will be added to the attic windows at the north and south gable ends, and that the grills will be complementary to the rest of the windows.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? 50 Gray, you are approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too.
Thanks.
All right, next on the list is 48 Mason. Is there anyone online or present for 48 Mason?
Looks like I have a Brian.
Yes, this is Brian with Rising Sun Solar, Astrowatt Solar, and we're handling the project on this. This system itself is going to utilize 20 REC 400 watt panels, all out of view of the street on the back side of the house. The panels themselves are flush mounted to the roof, and any kind of questions you have, I'd be more than happy to answer those.
Okay, thanks, Brian. I don't think the board had any comments. Since it was out of the view of the front of the house in a historic district, so I think we're good. Is there anyone else present or online that wants to make a comment about 48 Mason?
No.
All right, with that, do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the 48 Mason project as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? All right, you are approved. Have a good night.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Next on the list, we have 353 South Gore. Front porch, rear addition, and interior work. Welcome, Nathan.
You're a KU guy, aren't you? No. Good luck.
got a couple of questions for you, Nathan. The triangular gable louvers that are existing on the north and south, they're showing the photographs, but not on the drawings. Are those staying?
They are staying.
Great, okay. And let's see. Yeah, is there a door in place that's between the sunroom and the living room? Like that might have been the original position of the front door of the house? You can't see it from the street, but I was just wondering if there was something there because that will become, the visible front door of the house once the porch is opened up.
There is, I brought a photo of it.
Great.
That photo's from inside looking out. So yeah, there is a door with skylights there.
Mhm.
And what we were intending to do, the owner actually wants to add a transom above it, so we'll talk to the contractor about upsetting a header. Using the same sidelight configuration, but.
Uh-huh.
So that's that front door.
Yeah. Yeah, wow, that's a gorgeous door. While everybody's taking a look at the door, I got a few more items for you. The existing windows are mostly 4/1 and 5/1 double hungs. Did y'all consider going back with that same style or maybe restoring the existing windows?
We prefer the 2/2s that were shown, that the existing windows are pretty bad shape. So we didn't want to restore them. But the house is a bit of a hodgepodge. There's the original ones that have 1/1 storm windows over the storm windows, kind of obscure them. There was an addition built in the late or early 2000s, like 2002. It has a handful of replacements that are 4/1. There's some curved style ones that are scattered across the back too. So the 2/2s we showed, we're just trying to do the simplest kind of consolidation and all that. Was how we arrived where we're at.
Sure. Sure, just to bring some consistency back.
Right.
Yeah, okay. And then also too, I think it's just wonderful to open up the front porch and see the front of the house again. I'm sure they're really excited about that. The original stucco columns and guardrails are so characteristic, defining for the historic house, that those would need to remain. And that is what it states in the preservation guidelines, that posts or columns should be preserved or replaced with posts and columns of the same size, and that railings should be preserved. So because that is such a prominent on the front of the house historic feature, I believe that should remain.
Yes, I understand. We were operating on item 1 or the same guidelines. So also porches dramatically changed public right away.
Yeah, I understand. I guess in my opinion, it looks like they just had the original porch and added some windows to infill the original opening. And that really isn't what I would consider to be a dramatic change to the original, because you could just pull those windows out. It's, real reversible, and then you would have the original style of the house remaining. Go ahead, anybody
yeah.
else who's like to.
I have the same sort of comments. There's not necessarily something wrong with the design per se. It's more of a historic district issue, and there are guidelines for that we do have. So removing the style of windows and the style that you've chosen is not a historic style. It's not that it looks bad. It's just that this is not a historic style for this style of home. Nor is the door. You said they wanted something different though for the door, but the door shown is not historically appropriate for the home. And then again, I agree with Carol that the porch has not been significantly changed. It's simply had windows added to it. So just removing the windows, you would have the same historic porch. So the rules would be that you should keep those things. So the window style should be more consistent with the style of the home because it's in a historic district, as well as the porch and the front door. So,
Are you trying to say they cannot remove the door? Front door?
well,
Are you recommending that?
personally, I would never remove that front door, but, it's not my personal home.
True.
I would, and
Mhm.
historically, you are to keep the materials. One of the parts of a historic home, it's in a historic district, you are to keep the historic materials and do repairs and so forth. That's why we have the historic districts, so that we don't lose all our historic homes. Because, so, yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
if they replace the door, it needs to more closely match the style of that door than be a really rather contemporary style door like this one.
I'm just guessing one of the motivations for doing what you've done here is the owner wants to get light in their front hall. Yeah.
Quick follow-up, Nathan. You mentioned something about adding a transom to the front door?
Oh, right.
That's not reflected on the drawings.
It's actually hidden up above the porch.
Roof. Mhm. Okay.
Okay, was there an existing
Oh, so
transom
the
there?
transom would be even higher. Okay.
Yeah, that would not, altering that front entrance feature like that with a kind of a conjectural transom right in the middle of the front of the house is also not consistent with what how we would treat a historic home.
Sure.
How did what?
How does the porch as it sits now?
When was
Rules
it
might have been
done?
different.
But,
or-
it may not have even been a board at that time if I don't know. And, obviously times have changed and it's a different board. But yeah, we don't even know when that infill was done. I don't have it right in front of me, but it could have been, in the 1950s or something.
Yeah. One of the things, when I looked at the project, I thought, it's a really nice addition you've done, proportionally, the windows and all of that. And when I look at the comments on just the window grills alone, it seems like you could easily modify the windows you have to be 4/1s or whatever the style is, and not really a. They were okay with going to 4/1 across the board. Yeah. Might not fall into that. Yeah. And I guess the idea about the porch being altered, because it's in a historic district, I think that's kind of a sensitive, issue. Would agree with some other board members that say it's not that what you designed doesn't look nice. It's just that it's inconsistent with what historic preservation, Webster Groves. But I guess that's just a question. I mean, is it, it's still a nice porch if it remains as a framed openings. No, I was just gonna say it's still a nice open porch, even if you just remove the windows and sort of restore the detailing the way it was. Once the porch was closed. Yeah.
I'm kind of empathetic with your client and your position on this, that what you've done here, I think, is a perfectly acceptable appearance of a porch, and the fact that the porch was enclosed, and now it's coming back, you know, I think what you've done, I think your client's wishes and whatever are acceptable in my opinion. I'm not as strict or whatever it is regarding the other point. I mean, the porch was modified and now we're recovering the porch. Does that open the door to legitimate expressions that might be somewhat different than it was originally? And I'd say yes, it does. On the door, if the hall's dark and this is how they get light in it, I'm empathetic to that as well. But you are agreeable on the 4/1 window thing. So okay, that went away. Good.
Just have a quick question for you on the columns on the back.
Yes.
It looks like they're square in plan, but then in the rendering, they have like a rectangular shape.
Rendering is correct.
The rendering is right, okay. And then it looks like there's maybe some bump outs, but the patio that's not covered,
Yes.
those columns are just kind of
They're
just framing that,
it's just
yeah.
We're creating a portal around that door just to help break. There's some slight one that helps protect that door.
Yeah. And that will,
That face the house before we start.
yeah. So that's metal too, that kind of matches the, yeah, okay, okay.
All right.
What would be the advice or what would be an acceptable configuration? Still right now, we would naturally get more light. Is that the side light?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there were two lights.
So
up at
side
the
lights aren't
top.
active anymore?
No.
Okay, right.
Now, on I guess the exterior wall of the house, there's a whole
Mhm.
furred out wall, that stuff on that. That's the side lights up
I'm okay with what you did, so don't ask me.
I would say that you could, in a way, it's like the windows. It needs to have the division of lights. The small craftsman homes were the stucco style, that it was the division of lights. They didn't have big pieces of glass, right? So big pieces of glass were expensive. So I think that it would do it, just divide up the window would help with the style. Because you're not intended to have, you mean they don't want this door,
Correct.
but they're not going to do this door, right?
That'll be removed.
That's, okay, yeah. They want the one with the big, one big single, yeah, okay. But, right, I guess to be consistent with the historic style would be more divided. And I mean, really, they wouldn't have had, we know what they would have had. So it is a little tricky, but the windows are actually very divided. And having the vertical divider in the side light like that, that goes with, would have gone along with the rest of the windows in the home. And they probably could sell that door for an awful lot of money.
Are the eave conditions on the existing with the curve, are those going to remain? Because it's not shown that way on the drawings, just want to clarify. All right.
So you said the windows are in poor condition, or
Yes, the ones on the front of the house are for.
they haven't thought about restoring the windows at all?
No, I mean, they. No, they don't work. I mean, they work. It's the side one we get with.
Okay. I could go into my window replacement thing, but I won't. You know, I don't know if you discussed that with them, but as far as like energy efficient, all these things, there's really no reason to replace your windows. Sometimes they're in very poor condition, but old growth wood is old growth wood. We don't get it back. We can't go get it today. So
Well, with keeping the style, we can. Talk to the builder and have.
you might also want to mention, I mean, if they replace the windows, then you are in the cycle of replacing your windows all the time. Whereas if you do repair them, here in Webster, we're all at about 100 years or so. You can, on the East Coast, they're at 200 years. So, you know, we could get 200 years out of those suckers.
You would mention her comment to your people, and if they're going to match the style, they can compare the cost of that versus fixing the window.
What would you have us do with the storm windows?
You know, that was the point I was going to raise is storm windows, you just take them and throw them off, because unless they do nothing thermally, they do stop drafty windows from leaking so much, but other than that, they're just a waste of time, you know.
Well, actually, it's been shown over and over in studies. If they just put this, I would just put a 1/1 storm window, and they're very well sealed today, ones that they have today. And that air gap produces a great amount of insulation. And typically a storm window and an old window, single pane window, are as efficient as new windows. You'll never get the payback as far as energy goes, right? So a 1/1, I think, would be fine. I wouldn't try to mimic the 4 lights on top or anything like that, just the 1/1. And actually, they also provide protection for the window as well.
All right. So I think we've talked through some issues, mainly, trying to keep the windows or changing the grids. I'm not sure. I think on the porch, I don't know if that's an issue with your client, just to preserve what's there. Shouldn't have any issue if you're agreeable to that, but on the porch. And then with the doors, just, I think the addition of the grills was a suggestion because it doesn't really match historically. I'm not sure if there's anything else, but I mean, we can delay a vote if you want to talk to your client and, basically have you come back with agreeable revisions. The amount of information that we've talked about.
Yeah, we should probably do that.
Okay. All right. Okay, Nathan.
Could I have one, I'm sure you direct this request to, I spoke to that. Can someone post the district guidelines somewhere? They're not playing with it?
The historic.
We don't have them on the website.
Yeah.
You can request them, but I can speak with Mara about that possibility. Okay.
Should be
It's difficult dealing with
readily
clients
available,
sometimes.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You let me know if.
Right.
If this is
Even if you
okay
bought a
or
house,
not,
right,
as
it
far
shouldn't
as
be a
record
secret.
and city.
I agree.
have a
Yeah.
copy
Yeah.
if he wants to take
No,
a
we've
picture with
we've
his phone.
seen that before.
But I know you've got one now. Right? Yeah, I sent, you did get it.
Yeah, I
today.
did get it. Thank you.
Great.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Nathan. From that point, we are finished with the public hearing section. Next, we have 323 Rivas. Is there anyone there for that one? Come on up and introduce yourself. Hi, Gabe. Welcome. Oh, that's-
This is another home that I have in Webster, I live in a historic home. Just to let you know, but this home I purchased for my mother-in-law to get her closer to us.
Sure. Yeah. Great. Appreciate that. I think for us, if we see inconsistencies in the drawings, even if it wasn't drawn by an architect, we just want to make sure we understand exactly what you're going to build. So I think the first obvious question was, are you going to maintain the gable, the roof? The roof's going to stay. And so you're just going to shore that up and just replace basically everything underneath of it.
Yeah, everything underneath the stone wall that's there, that's also remaining.
Okay.
The posts that are holding the porch up are going behind the wall for how it needs to be done. There will be a fascia board on the side of the porch if that meets the stone wall, which
Oh.
about 8 inches or so. Yeah, it would just be a deck fascia. I was in a massive, like I had like 45 try to get some pictures so they could go through ARB. So that's why everything was extremely crude. I just tried to get together what I could so that it could use.
Yeah.
What is the finished column?
It's aluminum. It is,
Okay, all right.
yeah, I have,
That's fine.
yeah, the trim that's on it.
Got it. Okay, thanks.
Oh, okay.
So
Got that.
what was existing there, you can tell by the pictures, was just the old like ornamental iron,
Yeah.
whatever. So these columns are overkill as far as load rating. Structural engineers, the roof on the structure is not built, it's tied into it. So it's not, there's really no load there, but the columns will hold over 12,000 pounds a piece. So
Okay.
Right.
So you're going to replace the columns, the railing, and the actual deck
and the deck and
Fascia.
and the steps.
in the steps. Yes.
Right.
That's the aluminum railing.
Okay. And nothing else. Is that right? Nothing else is replaced except for those three things.
The deck, the columns, the railings.
Okay.
Right.
And adding the steps. There was 2 deteriorated concrete steps.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so
got it.
that's an existing stone masonry wall that's there now, and that's going to stay,
Yes.
which is great because we don't really know when we're looking at the picture. Sometimes I'm really it's nice to hear that actually because sometimes it's just something applied and
I mean, it was done,
yeah, sure,
Porch that was put on this house, and I know this is not a historic home. Like
yeah,
mine, but like it came off immediately because you step on it, fall through.
yeah,
And obviously it was not permitted or gone through ARB because it was built
yeah.
horribly bad. So
Mhm.
it was a death trap.
But the width of the fascia or the deck that's sort of currently sitting, that's there now that you're going to replace that, that height is you're going back with the same height.
Yeah, the level, the front
Right.
porch will be at the exact same level, and the fascia will be the top of the
Stone.
stone wall.
Okay.
And it's roughly 8. I'm sorry that I don't know the exact.
No, that's okay.
Between 7 and 9 inches. Is what the fascia will be.
And then is there just 2 columns one on each side. Okay,
Which I believe the drawing does show, one on each side.
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
It
Just wanna-
does, yeah. I think I got confused when I was looking at the plan because the plan showed 3, but I think that was below the deck. That
Yeah.
plan was cut below the deck.
That's the support of the
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure either if that was above or below or where we were, but.
And then what
okay.
about the stoop for the stairs? Is that also existing stone or what are you doing there?
two concrete, the front steps, there's two concrete steps that came up to the wooden deck that was above there.
Mm-hmm.
So this is basically replacing that same style, just in the deck material versus the concrete steps that are falling apart.
But you're gonna come down to a landing and then go down? Is that what you're doing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, just, I know, I'm sorry, I was with the pictures, but, yes, right now there was a step, a landing, and then a step up to the porch. So it will remain exactly that way, just in deck materials versus crumbling.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I see. I didn't realize it was like that. Okay, the existing one is like that. Gotcha.
So is there any material going underneath the landing? Is there, because I guess what's drawn now, it looks like it's all open, but that's not true because we've got the rock wall remaining.
The rock wall is gonna remain, and to be honest, what I was gonna do is, once we get everything there, whatever is exposed, if, at least on the front of the house, because the steps will not be that tall. Plan was to fascia underneath, on the side there, to block it, to
Right.
cover
To
that.
make it solid or lattice or,
So, well, I mean, if, it's from the front view, the one piece of 12-inch fascia board should cover that gap
Mhm.
on the side. If not, we go to lattice or anything to cover it.
Mhm.
It was more of a, I'm the homeowner, I'm the one doing it, to be honest with you, it was more of a, needing to kind of see how it's going to be. But I will cover either facial or lattice.
It's not that big a space, or probably isn't.
Right.
Like you said, it's hard to tell if it'll be a space or not a space.
Drawings.
Yeah. So it would be fine if we said it was covered with lattice, then you're saying if it will be covered with the fascia board or lattice or whatever's necessary is fine. Okay.
Okay.
Do we have a photo? I'm just looking to see if we have a record photo of the column style that you presented. Because, it'd be nice to have something in the project record. I'm not quite sure how we could do that.
I don't have,
Yeah, I mean, so if you're actually using that, we could just make a note about the style and type.
Yeah, I just so we have some record.
Something in the
yeah,
motion.
Okay.
Or,
Is there a name on it?
yeah, I
We
was
could
gonna say,
call it?
Carol, if we just
Yeah.
make a note about
Yeah.
the style that's on there and don't have to necessarily keep
So then
keep it.
we don't have to resubmit a porch.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and oh, great. Okay, so it's square smooth 6-inch. Okay.
on the plans, it looks like the stair isn't quite as wide as the landing. But in your elevation drawings, it looks like same width. Okay.
Yes, it will be the same.
So 4 foot or 3 foot. the stairs. Is that what you're referring to?
Needs to be 4 feet to match the landing.
Yeah.
I think the problem that I was having with the landing and that is
Gotcha. Yeah.
I don't have a problem with these are right in front of these guys.
You could make it wider, and then you could put little pots there.
Right, yeah, it makes no difference whether it's 3 or 4. I think the reason why I drew this picture is because of the sidewalk. She's elderly, and I was thinking about the landing a little bigger, but we're moving the sidewalk. That's why the steps leading to the sidewalk.
Mm-hmm.
So your handrail will go up the stairs and then we have to jog around the
All the
landing.
handrail goes all
Yeah.
the way around.
Okay.
It's in the drawings, how the handrail will go up the stairs.
Yeah, it's just in elevation, you would see the stair step. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
That's fine.
Just, I was trying to understand it.
Okay. Any other comments from the board? If not, I think we can just make a motion based on the clarifications that we've discussed. And move forward. So do I have a motion on 323 Rivas?
I'll make a motion to approve 323 Rivas with the following clarifications. There will be 2 columns on the front porch that are aluminum DSI columns, square, smooth, 6-inch style with cap, base, and trim. The railings will be as presented and called out in the specifications submitted. The existing stone will remain beneath the porch, and there will be a fascia board surrounding the perimeter of the porch to cover the gap between the stone and the new porch deck. Underneath the stair and the landing, there will be some material closing off that space. It can either be a deep fascia or a lattice. And the existing porch roof will remain the same and in place.
Do I have a second?
Oh, second.
All in favor?
Tiny little porch.
I,
Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Opposed? All right, Gabe, you're approved.
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome. Good luck. All right, next we have 542 Oak, which is a rear covered deck. Is there anyone for 542 Oak? In person or online?
I do have someone and my mouse just disappeared.
Great, have a nice.
Share with us.
Oh yeah, that's the one with the picture.
Okay. I think Name Meckler, can you hear us?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, welcome.
Okay. Cool, thank you.
All right, thanks for the pictures. That's helpful. I think we had some questions still yet.
Right.
Yep. First question, I think, was maybe just a question about the clearance above the diamond shaped window. I think, Carol, that was your question.
Yeah, was it your intention that that existing extended beam right above the diamond shaped window remain in place?
Right. Yes, we did. We didn't, that's an addition on the house, so it's really not relevant to the existing, to the, basic house or whatever, but we didn't want to tear anything apart or tie into anything that we didn't need to on this small project.
Okay, I'm looking at the drawing, which shows the diamond window well beneath the new roof structure.
Right.
But when I look at the photograph, it doesn't look like there's going to be room for the extended beam to remain and to tie in the new roof structure without interfering with or covering over that diamond shaped window.
Well, the idea was we're going to have a 3 11 and 7/8 by 1 7/8 LVLs going across that full distance at 18-foot width, and with a 4x4, 6x6, I can't remember which, going up. It's the people didn't want to just get rid of the window either. Okay, so so the beam is going to go across there with a 4x4 going up to carry the ridge line. That in essence, the 4x4 is going to, from looking at it, it's going to cut the diamond window in half. It's still going to be there, but this is going to be in front. This isn't going to be right next. We're going to our back, the beams and the 6x6s near the house are going to be approximately 3 inches off the existing wall.
Gotcha. That same truss that you're showing in the elevation is going to be at the front and the back of the construction.
Well, the one out by the away from the house, those are just 2x10s. We're going to have 3 around the perimeter, 3 double 2x10s on the 2 sides and the far end. We're spanning the 18-foot with the 2x10s because there's a 6x6 column in the middle of that end out there. But on the back wall toward the house there, that's where we're using the LVLs to span that full 18-foot with just 2 6x6 on each corner.
So you're making it a standalone structure.
Right. The only thing we are going to attach down at the bottom, at the band board on the bottom, our members across the middle, the 6x6s are going to sit on 3 piers there. Okay, 1 on each corner and 1 in the middle. 2x10s are going to go across there. And since we've got 12-inch piers, 12-inch diameter piers, we're going to have our post base on the pier. There's going to be somewhere about 6 inches or so between that post base and the band board to the house. So basically what we're going to do, we're going to attach a band board, just a 2x10, okay, with what do you call them, ledger lock bolts every 13 inches or so, and attach that to the house band board. And then basically we're going to put small, say 6-inch or 5.5-inch joist connectors screwed together. That's going to carry, basically all it's going to do is carry the piece of Trex, the last piece or piece and a half of Trex across the deck to the edge of the house. That's where the only attachment's going to be to the house.
All right. Any other comments from board members?
Yeah, I had a question about the railing layout drawing.
Sure.
It looks like you've got railing, some railing goes from center line of column to center line of column, and then some railing is pushed out towards the edge of the deck. Is there a
So
reason for that?
the situation with this is on the east side, there's what we call the barbecue pit pad. Okay, that's a 4-foot wide pad, full length or full depth, 19.6 of the deck. All right, that's going to have railing along the backside. Now, with this pad and with the walkway on the other side, on the west side, those go beyond the existing room. Okay, so on the east side, we're going to have, let's just say for simpler terms, a 3'6" railing. Okay, with 4-inch, vinyl post and the balusters, the black balusters, and then it's going to run 19 foot along the entire side of that pad, and then turn again back to the deck, 3 foot. That's so with wind or whatever, his 3 or 4 pits, smokers, blah, 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 don't blow away or don't roll off. Okay.
So that's on
On the other
ground or
side,
it's on the deck.
pardon me?
Is that on the ground or on the deck?
No, it's a deck level,
Okay.
but it's on the ground. We're going to pour a slab. We're going to have 6-inch piers underneath these walkways and these pads. So it's going to be a deck elevation, but it's going to be concrete with a stamped up pattern to it.
Is that a ramp? I'm confused.
Well, on the west side,
Yeah.
the west side, again, if you look at those railings inside the deck, there, it goes from center post to corner post, 90 degrees to center post.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those are the ones that look like they're centered. So those are mounted to the deck.
Those are part of the deck, correct? That's
Okay.
just to keep from stepping off out that way. Because on the west side there's like, I think it's a 5'9" opening from the house to the first post,
Mhm.
something like that. And that's level, again, that's at the same elevation as the deck, stamped concrete. Then as you turn left on that pad, you're going to start having a slight incline maybe to go to grade level at the end of the deck. Now on that side there, on the west side, you've got, go ahead.
That railing that you just described, where are you mounting that? Is that mounted to the deck or is that mounted to the
That
ground?
the 2 pieces in the 90-degree angle on the deck are mounted on the deck and to the 3 columns.
I think the drawing might be out of scale.
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean, she's
not
talking
following
about
Well, I didn't,
that,
clear.
right? Okay,
Right.
that
Yeah,
helps.
it's not that narrow. There's, I mean,
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
the issue is the plan on your first page.
I get that now.
You have the west elevation drawn, which shows that slope with the railing in front and then the railing behind, but the plan looks like there's 6 inches between the rails.
It's 3 feet or better.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
supposed to be like 3 feet or more, right?
between the post,
Between the post and that outside railing,
the width of the ramp.
right? What's the width of the ramp on the west side?
I think you said 3.
you know what? I apologize. It might have been 3 foot. I guess we need 3'6". I guess
think
we
that's
need
why-
3'6".
That's why there's a question, because the
Yeah.
plan makes it
Gotcha.
look like there's 6 inches.
Gotcha. Okay, so I need to make that at least 6 inches wider to accommodate that 3 foot width, right?
Yeah, so it's gonna be 3 foot clear
Gotcha.
or more. That's the
Okay.
part I think that Tracy was looking at.
I understand.
Okay. So then the railings on the deck are between the posts, and then the railings on the east side, you have the railings on the east side punched out to the edge of the deck, not between the posts.
No, no. See, now that's the difference. Those railings on the east side, those are out. There's a page there that shows, an aerial view looking down. The railings on the east side go around the perimeter of the 4x19 pad. That way you can't walk off that pad. The barbecue pits can't roll off that pad. the railings on the east side, the two short sides and the one long side are out at the edge of the 4-inch concrete pad. In other words, that area there doesn't have any railings between the columns. It's just all open out to the outside of that pad.
Gotcha.
I get it.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And then there was a question that Maura, on the items that she sent me today, there's just from the back side of the deck toward the pool, the south side, to the house, there's a gentle slope in the grade toward the house. Okay, so the idea was this: the owner has some debilitating situation, handicap, and that's why we're putting on the one side a sloped ramp for him to be able to walk. There's not, we want to alleviate any steps. So we're going to do some miscellaneous grading around here. And that's why we've got the 2 slabs of concrete at the elevation of the deck. They don't even want them to step down, a 6 or 7 inch step to the ramp or to the barbecue pits.
I guess I'm just gonna say that I am confused, still looking at these drawings, and I don't I'm worried about the constructability of this, so I think I might have to sit out in the voting.
I agree. There's too much confusion between the drawings and the descriptions that we're hearing. And, for me personally, I think that where the freestanding structure abuts the existing house is going to be rather convoluted looking. So yeah, for me, we would need to have some cleaned up drawings that show things to scale, and maybe a bit more information about how this proposed ramp actually works, addressing some of Tracy's questions about the railing placement, et cetera.
So would as far as the railing goes, I think just an accurate floor plan would clarify
Or
that.
site
So
plan, yeah.
Right.
we're not asking him to redraw the moon here.
Nope.
As far as the roof.
Well,
goes-
just a basic floor plan without all the minutia, and just showing where the railings are going to go according with the pad.
What you've done here, show the deck, show is pad, it's a concrete pad, not a deck, but
Right.
show that to scale, show the columns to scale and the rails, and show that ramp to scale. That would help clarify some stuff.
Okay. And I'll make sure that ramp is that side, the west side over there is at that 3.6 inches. To have that 3 foot clear span.
Yeah, that would help. Are you concerned with the roof and the window?
Yeah, I think that
okay.
it's not really drawn accurately. I don't
Was
know
there
if
any
it's gonna fit.
possibility that the porch roof could be a continuation of the house roof?
I think that would look much cleaner and much better.
Yeah.
That was a question.
Well, the people didn't want to go up so high, really, because that was their. I'm just trying to work with them.
mean-
They didn't want to. We didn't want to tie into that old.
With
that
all
old roof or whatever.
respect, it's another 8 inches or a foot. Why would it matter at that point? I think the question is, it doesn't look like the elevation is drawn accurately. It's sketched in there, and it's kind of questionable whether it works. So I think if the diamond window were drawn actually where it is in proportion, but raising it up a few inches would simplify it in some ways.
Yeah.
It would simplify the construction, I would think, because you're just tying into a roof line that's already there. I mean, it's done all the time.
Yeah,
for simplicity. And then also I think it makes a cleaner detail for long term because you don't have a step down in your flashing that could leak or ice dams could form. I mean, there's all kinds of complications when you start stepping roofs and flashing stuff. You're just asking for, you know, water and ice to come in to the house.
yeah, we don't
I-
want that.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I just think that's probably a good suggestion to simplify it that way.
I'll pass that on to the owners and we'll get going.
So if they would agree to that, I mean, all you'd have to do is, you know, revise it looks like these are drawn with pencil, so just revise
If there was an accurate rear elevation and a cleaned up floor plan, I think that would satisfy our confusion.
yeah, agreed.
And I
Okay.
also, that it would make a nice finished project if you continue the existing roof, because that way you wouldn't have the interference with the beam or the diamond shaped window. I think it would be overall easier to construct,
Good
a
looking.
better finished product and more aesthetically appealing. So I would really urge you guys to take a good look at that.
I will discuss it with them this week.
That sounds great. Thanks for working through all of this with us.
So we're just gonna,
Thank you. Thank you for your input.
Yeah, so we'll just table this until the next time. So once you have a chance to discuss it with the client, make the revisions, just submit it again and we can review it.
okay,
Will do.
clarify when they have to have that information to you.
So also, sir, this is Kelly Campbell from the city.
Right.
We record these sessions and they are on YouTube. If you want clarification of the discussion the architects had with you this evening,
Gotcha.
you know, that might be a real helpful tool.
Okay.
And if you actually, you've got a little leeway time this time for the next meeting because we've got a week
jump.
extra. If you get in some revised plans to us by the end of next week or early the next week after that, we'll be able to get you on to the first.
I should be able to do it by the end of next week.
Okay, we'll look for them. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, folks.
You're welcome. All right, next on the list, I think it's 726 Atalanta. Welcome. You home?
She's not in the line to be added in. She's not.
If you want to call her, she
She
can
needs
probably get back in.
Call back. I mean, she needs to dial back in or go back to the link and come in. She's not in my list. I can't add her without her on the list.
Yeah, go ahead and give her a call. We can wait.
Where's the speakerphone from?
Huh?
Speakerphone?
Right. Yeah. We can add her on the speakerphone if we need to.
Could you talk in the microphone? No trouble hearing. Thank you.
Yeah, and we see the door there, the both sides is existing there, and the original house is existing in the roof approved, the original house.
Go downstairs and resend the link to her email. I can try to do that. Do you want to just tell her that I'm going to resend it to her email?
We're just gonna keep you on speakerphone right now until you get
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, if the phone's held next to the microphone, we can hear you pretty well.
On the front, on the front.
So we went from the original to the second row of drawings, which is what we submitted for comments. So there were some changes done in the field and the permit expired. And because the lot is not conforming, or not conforming, but substandard now, the zoning laws have changed, and their house, with the changes that they made, that were not in our proposal, made the house too big for the lot. So when the permits expired and pretty significant changes, we had to go back through zoning to get back to the ARB to get changes for not be approved. The way the house was built because it was too big. So we met with Mara and Travis and reviewed options for how to kind of get back on track with the city. And Mara's suggestion was, let's get ARB approval. I will approve what you have done on the first floor, but you have to redo the second floor so that it matches pretty much as closely as possible as the minimal function. So anything that you're seeing in the field now, like if you go by the house, is really not considering because you can look at from the permit set 2020, which are the middle drawings, to the suggested final, which are on the 15. Does that help everybody get on the same track?
Yeah, I think so.
We didn't really include it, except for really focusing on the front because we weren't having to go through the court. It was mostly an interior renovation. That's why there's just some confusion about why is it, because it was just, let's just put together a package, make it scale and everything. So
Okay. Okay. Does anyone want to make a comment about window styles?
Yeah, I personally think that in order to make the house look more cohesive in design, that grills need to be on all of the windows. And also that way you won't have a situation where you're sitting in one room of your house and you have a mixture of grill styles within the same room. You know, we've got different sizes and shapes of windows, different head heights, and the design needs some cohesion, and it needs, I think, grills in those windows. And then also too, just as a clarification, obviously when this was constructed, the bearing height of the second floor was raised substantially. It looks like by over a foot. So will that bearing height be remaining? If you look at the photographs, you can see where there's brick that's exposed above the stucco. And when I look at these bays that are constructed on the sides, they're substantially taller than what is shown in the drawings. But the drawings seem to illustrate a consistent bearing height throughout. So I'm just trying to clarify exactly where we are on that.
Jenny, can you hear that? So the bearing height, is the bearing height, it looks like,
Okay, it certainly, so why do these rear bays appear so much taller?
If I, if I could ask, are you referring to the side bump outs?
Yes.
Those will be returned to the designed look, so they'll be lowered to match what's shown on the drawings.
Okay, so yeah, I would just wanted to be clear that because if you look at the photographs and you look at the drawings, there's a huge difference.
yeah.
And so I just wanted to be clear that everybody is understanding that those bump outs will be as illustrated on these drawings.
Yes, they were built too high. They will be returned to what is shown on the drawings. They'll be lowered.
Okay.
You're hearing from Rob, who's Jenny's partner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Thank
I
you,
was
Rob.
like, where did you come from?
Sorry about that. I got unmuted late.
Oh, no, no problem.
All right, I got on late.
Okay, I made a comment about the windows in the kitchen that were on the original approval, and I know that they weren't, that they were shown to remain, and then they were shown in the new, and now they're gone. Was any consideration to keep those or have transoms? I mean, just for your kitchen's sake? Mhm.
Yeah. You're gonna tear up your kitchen. I've been by to look at the house and the proximity of that elevation with regard to your neighbor. I can see where you looked at the plan from the interior, you wanted your kitchen to work and I don't have a problem. You're not having windows there. I'm trying to look at this thing overall, just forgetting how we got here and looking what's being proposed to be built. And if this is accurate to what you're talking about, you know, they may have some problems with the windows, but everything else is done. I mean, it's approvable.
I mean, we're really just, we're looking at the drawings, the
That's what-
proposed,
that's
and
what I'm
that's what
trying to
we're
say,
voting
you know.
on, yeah.
And these brackets will be reintroduced because they're not there now. There's brackets shown on the drawing.
Right, since they're on the drawings, I think that's what we're voting on.
That-
Right. Right.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
I agree completely.
So on the side elevations by the porch, before you had stucco there and the siding came to more of a vertical line rather than sort of extending out over the porch. Would it be possible to, you know, put that back so the porch looks more like one thing, you know, like more consistent there? So it all looks like it's the porch rather than because right now the stucco columns and rail look kind of out of place a little bit, I think. So because there's not stucco anywhere else right there.
Right.
We do have the builder online, don't we? Who was the other
No,
person?
Rob, that's Jenny's.
Oh, okay.
business
Well, let me ask this question. Looking at that photograph, is the siding in question, the location you're talking about, is that built over the face of the stucco? And if you just created a vertical line there, would that reveal that stucco? That's my question.
Looks like you got to patch it
Looks
anyway.
like it looks like it got kicked out.
It looks like you got to patch the
Well-
brick around the stucco column.
Right, and just looking at the drawings and not looking at what is built, because that's
Right.
what we're to do here, you're going to have stucco above, right? So you're,
Right.
Yeah, but my question would be.
so then you have
to-
this one little piece of, a little bit of siding
Yeah,
here. Is that fine at the side so that it's, you don't have just that little chunk?
My question is, isn't there stucco behind that board? Wouldn't there? No? Okay. Was there ever stucco behind it? So you don't have a picture of it before? Okay.
But see, here, they show stucco all like.
Right.
Not
Right.
like that, so there's just a little piece of
No,
siding.
I get where
on
you're
the
coming
drawing.
from.
It's just,
No, I mean, I think that's a good point because it does look a little funny It looks a little funny with the siding just hanging up there.
So you see what I mean? Like this right here, you could just make this part,
Oh,
because you're
okay.
making all this stucco anyway, right? This up here is stucco.
Okay, I get it.
Mhm.
So,
So
but you're going to be putting stucco according to these drawings.
Back.
So the stucco line would be that.
Right,
Yeah.
and
Okay,
we are
that's
supposed to look at the drawings, right? So the drawings is what I'm going by
Yes.
of that little piece.
You're just talking
Yeah,
about
yeah,
that, right?
exactly. And make it
Right.
so that it looks consistent. Just I mean, it's not that big a deal.
No, it's a
Really?
good improvement.
Yeah,
think it's a good point.
that's how the original one was there.
Yeah. All right, so Jenny, did you hear that? Well, the comment was really just on the right and left on the front porch. That the comment was it would be nice to preserve stucco above the porch opening as you originally had it. And just stop the siding where the porch,
Corner of the house.
at the front face of the main house and not have it return over. So that was a minor comment, but it sounds like, does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, this is really gonna come down to Johnny and Elizabeth. About how they wanna.
Right.
All I can do is, as for the group, is just present where we are right now and what the suggestions we need to move forward. And, so like, for example, there was discussions about the window styles and some of them have fibers and some of them don't.
Right.
They purchased all the windows and they're in, and I don't know what they're even at. I don't, that's something to Johnny and Elizabeth to find out. Those are the kind of things I'm concerned about with this.
Yeah.
More so than
What kind of,
the things that they can't necessarily do without taking everything out.
for the windows that have the grill, what are they like? Are they ones that you can touch from the outside, or are they in between the glass, or?
So the grills are snap-on on the exterior? Or,
Yeah, that's what I'm
Sounds like
asking. Are they
it's
snap-on, or are
I
they,
know they make them snap-on
they're part of the
inside the
window?
glass. Yeah, okay, that's what I figured.
And so you ordered them all without them? Is that what you said? So,
Can you repeat that one more time in the microphone? Okay. And that's what you ordered, or that's what you got?
So the window order was shipped in error, but you installed them. Anyway.
so well, that seems,
Yeah, if the confirmed order had grills and they shipped you the wrong thing, that would be their error and they should be the ones that would be. Oh, okay.
So didn't someone use drawings though to get this order? Because they should have ordered what was in the drawings. I guess I'm not, you know. So if you gave them the drawings and, I mean, I guess you have different windows than the drawings, I suppose there's that, so, but I guess to me that it makes it inconsistent. The windows should all be the same. You can't. Especially like, I mean, the one thing I noticed, it's like the living room or whatever, right? If you have windows with this style, that's kind of awkward for someone. It's, I don't know. It's,
I mean, you know, I understand that there was, you know, some misunderstanding with the window order. However, you know, for me personally, if this was submitted this way, I would not vote in favor of it. And I really, just because it's constructed, I'm not in favor of it. Doesn't make me in favor of it. I mean, I wouldn't have voted for it originally, and I really can't vote for it now.
yeah, I guess I agree. You know, we can't have the situation of just the kind of asking for forgiveness rather than approval. We're here for approval. So
Are the windows in the house, what's drawn here is proposed? Is that what's there?
well, it can't be
No?
because they're
Okay.
changing the house. So
Okay.
some of them have to be different because they're
Okay.
changing things.
Yes, okay. All right. Yeah, well,
So some are, some aren't, I guess.
The windows on the first floor are shown as what is currently installed. The windows on the second floor are shown to align with the permit, the 2020 permit design. So basically the first floor is shown as what is currently built and the second floor is shown as what was approved previously.
I don't think any of us are wild about what happened here, but I don't know that I'm gonna inflict thousands of dollars of punishment to flip these windows back. That's just me. I will say that Jenny's efforts to bring the mass of the project back to the original scope in terms of the roof lines and the what I call the towers that were built to drop those back down to the first floor was effective and covering an awful lot of turf. So it's just a question of how far I'm willing to go. And I think throwing out those windows and replacing them is a little further than I'm willing to go.
I would personally suggest whoever the window company is, they should be able to add grills to that. I would verify that before I would make a vote, because to me,
If that's
I-
possible.
you
that'd
know,
be great.
if we look at plans and they have grids and it's all cohesive and then all of a sudden everyone just starts building what they want, and every project has to come back and be reviewed by the board because the window guy didn't put the grids in, I think that's just going to be an ongoing issue. So I don't, to your point, Ken, about inflicting, I'm really saying that this is about an approved set of plans and what could be done to just say, to accept it the way it is, because that's the way the window showed up. So and that's my opinion. And I think it does look odd to have grids on the windows on some of them, but not all of them, especially within the room. I mean, that's just a really odd thing. So one or the other, to me. That's my personal thought on it, you know.
Are in, well, when you say exterior, do you know for a fact you can put a screen on the outside of these windows, or you can do that?
The grid.
Yeah, if the window manufacturer can provide you with the
Okay.
snap-on
Yeah,
style that
that's
isn't
fine.
necessarily exactly the same,
Right.
but the pattern
I
is the
just,
same.
I didn't
Right.
think that was possible.
I'm with you, but I think it, you know, for our group, we're looking at this, and the question is, you know, we're looking at what we see in our suggestion on what we're going to vote on. So for us to say that if it looks better with grids, it doesn't matter if it's snap-on or integral. From our viewpoint, I think is really the comment I'd like to make. You know,
But it would be right on the window when he says a screen or something, it would be actually on, you know, you know what we mean by the snap on and the integral, like there's the ones that do that. Often they snap on to the interior also.
Right.
So if that is an option, that's fine with me as well, but not on some, you know, don't put something else over it that would be an extra. Yeah.
But that discussion has not occurred with your window people, that you're not sitting here today saying, we know we can do this. Okay, I mean, that to me is the ideal way to settle this thing, you know,
mm-hmm.
if it's doable. I don't know that it's doable. I kind of wonder if it is, but that would be wonderful.
Okay. All right, so changes to the stucco on the sides of the front porch, window grids being added back to the windows. Is there anything else?
Well, when you say window grids being added back to the windows, is that predicate on their being able to add the exterior grid? Or if they can't, you're saying throw these windows away and go out and buy new ones?
Yes.
You are saying that. And
I'm just saying, I would approve it with the grids as it's drawn. Because you have some that have grids on them on the sides. They're in the drawings that way too. So that's what we're voting on, right?
Yes.
So I would say that adding grills to the windows that don't currently show them could be part of the motion. Sorry. On the sides and on the rear those are the ones that are already there. And if you could have the window manufacturer install a snap-on grid on the exterior, that would take care of the issue. The question.
I agree with you completely.
Okay.
Do you know for a fact they can do that?
I don't,
know
and
that.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So,
right. Okay.
So the motion would be that grills are to be added and the method would be incumbent upon the applicant.
Right. Means and methods. Not
yeah.
ideal.
I have trouble voting for that, not knowing if they can do this or not, because it's a big thing.
Mhm.
Means and methods are not our deal.
Well, no, we're a community. And
That's right.
Agreed. Right. We are. So, the stucco, is there anything else besides the windows that we're missing? I understand the kitchen windows are, would require you to tear out your whole kitchen. So,
Yeah, I would agree with the comment of I would prefer that you add maybe even one window in your kitchen would be nice. If Right, and I will say it's fine under, I am willing to give some leeway under the circumstances, but normally we would, we did approve it with the windows, and normally we would say, we want the people to have the windows, right? So
yeah.
it's the way we usually do things. And
Right.
you can even put in a, transom window like that, or something that's not such a large window, but
Yeah. I mean, that's how I feel on that too. Just leave it the way it is. I'm fine with it.
It does look much better now that we've established that those boxed areas with the gables will actually
Mhm.
be lower.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It would be unacceptable if they were to remain as tall as they are now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would be okay with that too.
Good.
Now that we've clarified the actual height of those boxed areas.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that, but, because it isn't that big, shown in the drawing. It's not that large. There's a stucco above the siding and so forth, so there's some detail to it.
All right. Is there anything else? Anything else from the board?
If we make this motion and approve it with the grills and it turns out they need to replace all these windows, can they come back and make that case later?
That would not change my position. I would not have approved this if I saw it originally, and I just don't feel compelled to approve it because it was built unapproved. It just,
Okay.
that doesn't change it for me.
I mean, yeah, I think the question of grills or not grills, I would not have approved it with grills on, just the front and the sides were blank. Myself.
Right. And it's the mismatch, it's that there's more than one style. If none of them had grills, it would be a
Right.
different story, but so if they were all consistent, is really the notion.
So I guess, I think I don't think we're missing anything else. I guess we can make a motion.
I'll make a motion what is this? To approve 726 Atalanta with the understanding that grids will be added to all the single light windows on the sides and rear that match, that are consistent with the rest of the house. And the small piece of siding on the side elevations that's above the opening of the porch will be changed to stucco, so to make and align with the porch. Is that it?
Yeah, I have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
I'm opposed.
All right, motion is approved, or I guess your project is approved as we have noted. Right? All right, good luck.
Thank you.
Jenny. All right, we have one more preliminary project. We have one more preliminary project to review, and Tracy is the architect, so she's gonna step out.
She's gonna leave.
Come back in, or are you going bye-bye?
It's up to you.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Okay, so the last one on the list is 402 East Glendale. Is there anyone on for that? Anyone here for 402 East Glendale?
Got two online. Get 'em in here.
Yeah, that's unusual.
There's Michelle.
Hello,
Hello?
Lauren.
can you hear me okay?
Yeah, who is this?
This is Michelle Ricks.
Welcome,
And then Lauren
Michelle.
Brimley as well.
Lauren?
Yes.
Okay, are you the homeowners or?
Yeah, we're business partners.
Okay. So I had a comment which was sent in earlier, but I wanted to ask, which was, did your team consider, it was really about the third story for me. When I was looking at the three-dimensional aspect of that walkout deck porch. And the question was, did you maybe consider treating all three sides the same with a vertical siding? And then I started wondering, well, I wonder if you might consider just pulling that vertical siding all the way along the elevation, maybe break that up a bit especially on the west elevation, because it's 3 stories and it's kind of, it was just a comment, I guess. First, it started from the porch having sort of one identity on the front and then something else on the sides. And just wanted to make that comment or ask that question.
Yes. Is it okay if I respond now?
Sure.
Okay, well, we thought this was a great comment, especially from the front elevation, creating, if we would like to go ahead and make it more simplistic and unified and bold look with adding the board and batten on the front and really emphasizing the porch with that, and adding the board and batten on the recessed wall facing the 3rd floor front elevation porch. However, we were hoping that you guys would consider allowing us to keep the west elevation as a more unified, cleaner look with one type of siding versus having the board and batten on top and the siding below.
Yeah.
But, that was just our opinion.
Well, I guess, I mean, that comment came from me. So I was just sort of thinking beyond that, but really it was the porch itself. So, the porch is it's sort of the corner. It's really just the porch portion of the west. So if you treat the front column, as a column piece, it sort of reads as a solid. And if you turn to the west and it's solid, because there's going to be some sort of detailing there where the deck comes through.
Yeah.
And then then as you move towards the back of the house, then it could be horizontal. That was fine. It was, to me, it was just a little bit funny, mainly the corner post being vertical batten on the face and then horizontal siding on the side to seem goofy. Like that post could just be solid. It could be just solid material on all 4 sides.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, just so it kind of reads as a separate piece.
Yeah, that's a good thought. That's what we should do.
I'm having trouble following. Are you saying you want this to go vertical?
I'm just saying the
These
two,
columns.
right.
You want to articulate them as columns and not part of the wall. Okay.
Because on this
Gotcha.
side, it's board and batten.
So
Yeah,
this
just
there'd
side,
be some kind of
horizontal
break. Okay.
siding shown in that drawing.
Okay. I
That was-
wasn't quite
that
getting
was-
what you're saying.
Yeah, that was my only comment.
Column.
I think other members might have comments.
My comment was, I contacted Mara and I said, Mara, why is this not a 3-story house?
Ah,
I'm happy to say her response was this. I'm like, well, this is opening up a whole avenue of opportunities for people in Webster. As long as that 3rd floor is less than 50% of the 2nd floor below it, I believe. It's considered a half story. I thought it had to be underneath an eave line
Oh.
or something, so, but
yeah.
Interesting. I wondered the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. I had one comment about that door that comes out of the master bedroom. If you've considered putting the little awning over that door as
Yes,
well.
I think that was a good comment too. And we will add that in a similar style to the front porch awning and also the back deck, the the south elevation back door has an awning, and it would be in that same style. If they choose to have the optional deck.
Yeah, that's actually what made me think it, because the other door had the little awning.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
where
Not the
that
good.
one went. It looked, I don't know, just looked like it would go there.
It's an interesting site. I
Yeah.
live on Glendale. I've driven by there. I'm going, wow, that was
Weird.
Yeah, you don't get a site like that too often.
My first comment was nice job with a challenging
Yeah,
site.
no, I-
Right.
and-
Thank you.
And to make a sort of third story conforming in Webster was good news.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit more about this cedar bracket? I was a little bit unsure. Just to make sure I understood it, it just looks like that's a exposed truss of sorts, but are the rake beams gonna be cedar or just that T shape? How's all that resolving?
So as far as giving you more detail on it, it would be a cedar beam or a wrap cedar beam. I have, and I wish I could have been there in person. I had a parent teacher conference, but I'd be happy to email an inspiration picture that details it quite clearly. I'd be happy to email you, and it would help define the look a little bit more with the beam if you wanted, or
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's just kind of a question of when I saw it, I wasn't sure exactly. And,
yeah, it's kind of hard to tell from this picture. I mean,
like,
gosh,
so
I
the
have a great one, but yeah.
so the vertical post and the horizontal are cedar. What about the rake? What about the, fascia,
So let me pull up that picture really quick.
I think we're just thinking like it's a cedar decorative gable and the
Does it
rest.
got like exposed fasteners or what's it, is it just, I don't quite.
Okay,
get-
so it doesn't have exposed fasteners, and the fascia board behind it is white,
Okay.
as well as the trim above. And it's kind of a clean, simple look.
Hmm.
And you said
I have a
come back in
picture.
for, well, you may not be coming back for the final. It depends how we vote. But
Underneath.
you have some information on that bracket, a picture or something that might clarify it. So-
Yeah, I have a picture, and then underneath the deck, it would be finished in a nice wood that would add a little more interest that you would easily be able to see since it's a third story.
Right.
Mhm.
The tongue and groove or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, to me, it was just kind of a question. It wasn't clear.
Okay.
What material are these awnings? It looks like
Metal.
Tracy said it would be a system that we would get.
yeah, a metal.
Probably, I'm assuming some kind of aluminum with some kind of drainage system.
Yeah.
Would you guys say? I don't know.
No, I think that's probably what it looks like a pre-manufactured aluminum.
That's what I thought. But
Verifying.
yeah, just wondering because, well, it has, I don't know, you never know.
Yeah.
There would be some wood detailing that would go underneath it.
Oh, that's what you're showing there, those.
Those
There's
are
like-
some wood detailing. We just wanted to make some decorative element there, some interest underneath the system.
Okay. That's more like the porch ceiling, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Not visible.
It looks like there's still a lot of drawing to be done here. This is preliminary, so. If, I don't think we would impact their schedule in terms of construction if you wanted to see some of these touch-ups come back to us, but I don't need that to happen. The last comment I would make is with that awning on the front, you could play with the height of that. I think it might look a little better being higher, but that's pretty subjective.
I agree. I think that could be raised up higher so that the distance was the same from the bottom of the porch to the window. Yeah, that should be higher.
Yeah, just a little.
Like a foot or two.
So what do we want to do?
How's everyone feel? I mean, I'm okay with.
Approving it with the comments we made?
Mhm.
Yep, yeah, that's fine with me. I
I'm good.
like everybody's comments and
Yeah.
the things that have been agreed upon to incorporate. I think that will look great.
Okay, so we're adding vertical siding at the recess. We're gonna express the exterior columns of the attic porch with the same material on all four sides. Raising the front roof or canopy. Is that what I heard?
As a recommendation to look at, yeah.
I wanted to do that, so, and add we're gonna add that one.
And then add a small
Over the bedroom.
canopy over the bedroom on the back if they elect to keep the porch and the door. And I think that's everything. So I think we can move it to a vote. If that sounds agreeable. Michelle and Lauren.
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right. Someone has a motion then
I can't remember all this.
on 402 East Glendale.
I'll make a motion to approve 402 East Glendale with the following conditions or the columns at the attic porch will be wrapped in the same material on all four sides. Excuse me. The canopy over the front door will be raised up a little bit. Then let's see, what else is it? There will be a canopy over the master bedroom door. And there will be the siding on the inset porch of the inset of the third story porch or attic porch, excuse me, will be the same as the board and batten, right?
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? All right, Michelle and Lauren, you're approved.
All right, thank you so much. Have a nice
Thank
night.
you.
You're welcome. Have a good night. All right, with that, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
There you go.